Welcome into another episode of Two G's in a Pod. Amber Theoharis, James Jones, and it's that weird week that we have off before Super Bowl week. And James, I'm at the Pro Bowl. I'm doing this from a hotel room in Orlando. I'm looking forward to talking to a bunch of the stars. But a lot happening around the NFL. We already know that the 49ers and the Chiefs will be playing in the Super Bowl. That's set. We already know that all of the coaching positions have been filled now with Dan Quinn going to Washington. And then Mike McDonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator, going to the Seahawks. So it feels like things are starting to settle down a little bit in this lull before the Super Bowl. But we have Derek Carr coming up on this episode. And I can't wait because he's a good dude. And there's a lot of questions that I feel like were left unanswered. His exit from the Raiders, his first year with the Saints. So we're going to ask him a lot of questions. There's some Michael Thomas stuff out there. Michael Thomas acting a fool on X. So we're going to ask him all these questions. But before we bring Derek in, I wanted to give an opportunity to talk about our last guest, Zay Flowers, who is an impressive young man. He's a rookie, and he had a rough AFC championship game. He fumbles the ball at the goal line. He has a taunting penalty that was ill-advised that hurt the Ravens. But this young man, the way he handled it, the way he said, I'm not going to let one moment define me. I mean, he's only 23 years old. I was just proud of him. I want to give a shout out to him. Any hate that came towards Zay Flowers, get over yourself. Like, we're going to defend him no matter what, because the Ravens are high on him. They're excited about him. He had an amazing year. And also, I know you noticed how the Ravens organization stood by him, which was impressive.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you see the GM, Eric DeCosta standing behind him as he was doing his interview. And I just thought that was big time. That is very, very rare, that you have your GM standing behind you like, I got your back, young fella. And to be honest with you, Zay Flowers, everybody that's everybody that has a Hall of Fame jacket on has had bad plays, had bad moments. That's the name of the game. And I text him and I let him know, I said, listen here, man, the Ravens are not in the AFC Championship without you. Point blank, period. I don't care rookie. I don't care MVP quarterback. You were a huge part of that offense to why they won a lot of football games and was in that position. And I told him straight up, Mike McCarthy always told me, I'm never going to be mad that you're trying to make a play. And I know a lot of people want to touch on the, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but I don't even care about that because he caught the ball the very next play and got the first down, put them right back, where they were. So the young fella, like I said, he was trying to make a play, excellent play by Snead to punch the ball out. But the way he stood up there and handled it like a man, and the way people are supporting him, especially in the organization, the young fella has a bright future.
I love seeing Eric DeCosta. Eric DeCosta standing right behind him. In the post game was like, I got you. So we wanted to address that. Awesome. But without further ado, let's bring in Derek Carr. All right, this is the time of the podcast where 2 G's in a pod becomes 3 G's in a pod, and we have an OG on this right now. Derek Carr, welcome in. He is a multiple-time Pro Bowler, 4 times, entering his 11th year now with the Saints. I know, James, you played with Derek with the Raiders. So, Derek, how are you doing? Good to see you.
It is good to see you both, and I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
We're excited.
Off, man, you're in a big-time office over there. A little money, huh?
Hey,
see mine, look at
me. Hey, it's just all my stuff,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's, shelved the right way, put up, you said
he's got that real craftsman. You're sponsored by Home Goods in the back with the nice Home Goods $15 painting.
Hey, but $19.99, baby.
All right, Derek. First of all, how are you feeling? You are one of the toughest dudes I've ever seen play. I know how much pain you were in battling through the shoulder injury. I know you had a back injury, you had a concussion, and you're still out there. And if you look at your numbers, still just a solid statistical year, even better than last year. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling better than I was, for sure. And I grew up in an era, with James and Seawood and Lamar Woodley, Justin Tuck, Kevin Booth. Like, if you can go out there, you're going to go out there. 2 to 3 weeks means, okay, I'm probably going to play Sunday. And where 2 to 3 weeks now means 4 to 5. And so for me, we broke 3 ribs, and tore the heck out of my shoulder, the 2 concussions, my back, the list goes on and on. But thank God I was able to go out there like by his grace, and to be able to play, because like I hate more than anything missing practice, let alone games. And so I was able to practice. I was able to, well, I should say, do my best to practice, and then when we get to game day, it's better living through chemistry sometimes.
That's
Yeah, we
crazy.
all know, man. Toughness is, nobody will ever question that. Anybody who played with you will never question your toughness, point blank, period. But I ain't talked to you in a minute, man. So I haven't even been able to kind of pick your brain on how, all the Raiders stuff ended and all that, And I remember when I was with the Raiders, obviously we had a good year together. I led the team in yards and catches. And I was
He had to
at
get that
Taco
in.
Bell. I was at Taco Bell, and I got a call from Reggie McKenzie, and Reggie McKenzie said, "JJ, Jack Del Rio wants to release you." I'm getting Nacho Belgrande. I'm like, "What is you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really have no, fight back. It was my first time going through it, so I didn't really have no fight back. I'm like, "Cool, man. If that's the decision y'all want to do, it's all good." But with you, man, you just said you do not like missing games, right? When Josh McDaniels came to you and said, "Derek Carr, the last two games we are going to start Jared Stidham." Like, what was your reaction when you got that call? Did you try to like talk Josh out of it? Like, "Hey, bro, let me finish, the season." How did that conversation go?
Yeah, I literally said, I sat there like with a pretty dumbfounded face, and I was like, well, I didn't think 9 years of work would end like this. And they both said, well, no, we don't want it to end, and I was like, I think we're past that, and
Yeah.
and it is what it is. And I told Josh in there, I said, look, man, thank you. You know me, Dingo. Like I'm, hey, appreciate it, guys. I think a lot of things, especially in the business world, things, I think a lot of things, but thank goodness I can keep them in sometimes. And, I was in that moment, I just was like, I don't want to hurt any relationship. I don't want to say something stupid, you never know what the future holds. But, when you have like, you spent 9 years in a place, you have, all the records and all those things, and you have the memories and the brotherhood, all the relationships, and then all of a sudden it's done, and I'm going to go spend time with my family. I'm never coming back to the facility. I'm never coming back to wear this jersey. There's little things where your friends are like, man, then I ain't gonna give you like a tribute video. I was like, bro, we don't need all that, but like all that kind of stuff, like you just want your work to be respected. That's it.
No question.
And
Did you say why? Did you say why? Like when they said we're gonna sit you and we're gonna play Jared?
Yeah, I did, and I was like, why? Like that makes
What was
why?
the answer?
Basically, like tell me, and
What was the answer?
and
Why?
they were like, honestly, we want to see what these two guys can do, so we know what we have going into next year. And I said, hey, that's your decision. Okay, got it. I'm a grown man. I'm not gonna sit here and try and talk you out of some kind of decision you want to make. I'm gonna go spend time with my family. It's all good. And I have talked to Josh since then. I've texted him. During they beat a team, and I texted him like, "Hey man, that's awesome, congrats." He texted me right back. When we had a big game and all stuff like that. So, like, I love everybody. I may not like everybody, but at moments and at times, but I love everybody, and I just try my best to, make every relationship all right and cool, no matter what the situation is.
I'll tell you, you're a better Christian than me, and I'm a pretty devout Christian, because I would have had a moment there, and I would have had a moment after. Okay, so ultimately you leave. Their plan didn't work. They didn't have a viable plan. Your successor failed. Ultimately, it led to the firing of Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. And look, we're friends with Deion Sanders, me, your brother, James. We're all on NFL Network with him, and he used to say to me, "Look, we know he's Christian too." He used to say to me, "Amber, God tells us to take the high road, but sometimes my GPS is broken."
Man, that's it.
And at that moment, on October 31st, when you heard that the regime was completely relieved of their duties, did you have a moment of, I don't want to say happiness at all in someone else's misery, but just validation that you knew it was the wrong decision at the time?
Well, I didn't need to say, anything. Things played out the way they played out. And, we only went 9-8. Yeah, we had a winning year, but we didn't make the playoffs. So at the end of the day, who am I to say anything, right? But at the same time, like my heart actually felt for him because I knew his kids, I knew his family. Like I know what it's like getting released. James knows what it's like getting released. That crap sucks, like that. Anytime anything negative, it sucks. And so I felt for Dave and I felt for Josh. I really did, because one-on-one, like when you're with them, they're not bad people. They're trying their best. They're doing their best to do what they think is right and manage the money and this and that. And I get all that. It's a business. So I really didn't have a feeling like told you, like any of that kind of stuff. I really didn't have those feelings. I actually remember sitting there talking to my wife. I was like, I actually feel bad for their family, because that sucks. It's tough. I've been there, and I honestly had feelings of like, man, if only I had another chance, like another year under your system, I think could have done really well, because I understood it more. I finally, it took me a little bit, but neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, I always wish everybody the best, even if they don't like me. And I don't think that's the case with Josh, but I always feel that way for everybody. I want everybody to have the best, time they can in this league because it's hard enough already, especially if people on the inside are against you, it makes it even harder.
Man,
yeah, see, with me,
you're a good dude.
with me, I'm a Christian too. When the Raiders,
But he'll put hands on someone.
when the Raiders released me, their backup plan was Amari Cooper. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like Coop. Coop like that. Then Coop goes out there on the football field and he goes to work. I'm like, okay, there we go. Good job. Crabtree, Amari Cooper, that's pretty good. I could have helped too, but you had a really good plan, right? You know what I'm saying? With the Packers, when I went up, rest in peace, Ted Thompson. My last year at the Packers, I led the team in touchdowns and yards. So JJ just be out there quietly leading teams and stuff. And I go up to Ted Thompson and I'm like, look, Ted, I know that I'm done after this year. I just want to play one more.
Yep.
Right? Like, I just want to play one more. Like, let me play one more. I don't care if I'm the fourth receiver, fifth receiver. I just want to play one more. And he was like, nah, JJ, we can't do that. He said, we got young players with Devontae Adams. We got young players with Jeff Janis. You know what I'm saying? We want to develop those guys. And I'm like, I'm cool. Let them dudes play. I can be the fourth or fifth. He said, nah, because I know you and Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Rodgers is going to spin that thing to you, and it's going to slow down the development of the young players. Well, that next year, they end up releasing Jeff Janis. And I ain't going to lie. I'm sitting at the couch like, y'all let no disrespect to Jeff Janis, he my dog, but come on, what I'm saying? I could have been there helping. So you don't gotta say it, but I know it was times where you like
we all would feel like that, and I don't think anybody would blame you.
You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, we were sitting there, me and Amber up there in the press box, like, what I mean, the other foe, what I mean. He made that throw, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. The plan wasn't viable.
Yeah,
the plan wasn't viable, and now the Raiders are in a situation where they've got to figure out who their quarterback is. And Derek, you're with the Saints. Let's talk about the Saints. I know JJ wants to ask you about that.
Yeah. I mean, it was an up and down season for you guys, obviously, especially team wise too. 9-8, tied for the division, but the Bucks had the the tiebreaker over you guys, and they ended up, getting into the playoffs. Just talk to us a little bit, about the journey, with you guys and the Saints. Coach Dennis Allen, you was back with Coach Dennis Allen. Just talk to us a little bit about your guys' season.
Yeah, it's hard for people to understand, what's happening when you're not on the inside every day, and I get that. And I've never been someone that is going to even tell you even close what's going on the inside. I'm going to give you a lot of words, but you're going to get nothing, And so during the season, I'm not saying anything, but, guys, we're dealing with injuries. We're dealing with getting on the same page. Like, everyone runs an in cut different. Everyone breaks their routes off. It's supposed to be 14. Some guys go 16, like it's just all that stuff is different. And they're getting to know me. I'm getting to know them. And so for the first half of the year, we are battling, we are fighting tooth and nail to get closer, understand each other, all these things. And then the last half of the year, I'd say the coolest thing, me and DeMario, we started having breakfast every morning, every once a week, every morning. And, we started talking to each other, opening up, how do we make it better? How we unify, bring the brothers together, how we bring each other together. And as we began to do that, we saw our team begin to do that. And so, I'm going to all the O-line dinners. I'm texting FaceTime with Chris and with Rashid and Jawan and talking to Taysom, going to dinner with Taysom. Every time we go to dinner, I'd ride with Taysom so we could spend time together. All that kind of stuff. And I just felt like our team the last half of the year, I mean, we were hot. Like there was one point that last half of the year where we were the number one offense in the red zone. We were a top 5 offense in general. And there was all these things going so positively that we're like, man, if we can get in, we ended up winning 4 out of the last 5, but it wasn't enough, and we hurt ourselves early on. And again, everybody's dealing with whatever, but we earned 9-8. But I was really proud of the way we ended as a team. Like I was excited about it. I know everyone in our building is really excited on how we ended. Now, the overall scheme of things, not good enough. We know that. But now we know the formula. We know what it takes, the sacrifice it takes daily, not only on the field, but that time spent together, that extra work, that, teaching guys how to watch that film, teaching guys, there's things to bring guys along and help our team be better that our coaches and Mickey, everybody pointed out. So we're in a place of inside our building, man, we are super excited. We were sad, when Pete was fired. We love Pete. But DA, said, he has a plan for this and that, and with the scheme or with the guys that we have and all that. So, we trust Mickey and we trust DA with all that because, we showed that, when we, get on the same page, it can be pretty dynamic.
And Pete Carmichael hasn't been replaced, and a lot of rumors, of course, pop up about John Gruden. I know he's a consultant with the Saints throughout the year. Do you think that John could be an offensive coordinator? Not like, is he qualified to be an offensive coordinator? Could he handle it? Because he was a good head coach. And would you want to see him maybe come in and run that offense? But how would that work with Dennis Allen, who's a strong personality, and John's a strong personality?
Yeah, I think those two have a really good relationship. Just watching them interact with each other is really, really fun to watch. Those two interact. And do I think he could do it? Coach Gruden can do whatever he wants to do. That man is unbelievable. He's an amazing coach. He's an amazing friend. He's family to me. He has been. He always will be. Him and his wife Cindy and his boys, they're family. He's always treated me like one of his sons. And so we have a great relationship. We have always kept up, and we communicate and we talk. But I don't know what that plan is. DA asked me for, I answered a whole bunch of questions about a lot of different people. I've given input here and there, and then that's just information DA to have as he makes the ultimate decision with Mickey. And so I know Gruden. I know his offense like the back of my hand. We had so many reps at it. I could do it in my sleep. But at the same time, there's a lot of moving parts to a lot of different situations.
And I want to say, a lot of times we don't get opportunities to tell stories, as sportscasters, but John Gruden, I know, took a lot of heat, and, he should have, for things that he said. And I'm not absolving him of that responsibility or what he said. But I do have to say, sometimes you have to look at how people have treated you. And I want to put this out there that when I was kind of just getting on the national scene as a sportscaster and a very young woman, and it's tough to be a woman in this business. It's very tough. And I showed up at Monday Night Football, and he was in the booth at that time calling games for, I think it was ESPN. And he gets out of his car, and I'm just standing there, getting ready to go on the field. And I would never think John Gruden would know who I was. And he gets out of the car, he beelines and walks right up to me, sticks his hand out just in a really professional, strong manner. And he goes, "I'm a big fan of yours." And I said, "Wow. What?" And he said, "Keep giving those boys hell. You know what you're talking about." And for a football mind like that, when you're battling as a woman to really prove yourself, and you know the game, and that you have great analysis, but you're trying, people see just a woman. For a man of that level to give me that vote of confidence meant a lot to me. It's something I'll never forget. It really made me feel like, okay, keep doing what you're doing, keep working hard, keep learning the game. So we never get a chance to say these behind the scenes stories. We just hear the press about people. So I did want to put that out.
No, that's good, because kind of the same thing happened to me. I never even played against Gruden, never played for Gruden. And when the first interaction I ever had with Gruden, he walked up to me. He was like, "Hey, man, I ain't never seen nobody with hands like you." And I'm like, What you talking about? Like,
How do you know me?
you've been watching me. I know you done called a couple games and all that type of stuff, but like you've been watching me, you know what I mean? And just for him to walk up to me and just, respect, like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a tough receiver, man. I ain't never seen nobody catch like you. I'm like, okay, like this dude get respect. So I know Gruden is a good dude, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He said things he shouldn't have said, and everyone's in agreement. Like, don't talk like that,
Yeah.
But we've all also said things that, man, if it got blown out, you'd be like, man, I don't like him,
Yeah.
or I don't like her, And we've all, but to to some of the things he was saying, obviously there's no place for that. And like I said, you hate
No.
the sin, but you love the man, and he's someone I love, and I'll always love him.
Yeah, and it's conflicting because he said some things about women, but you also want to put a story out in its totality of experience. So, I gotta ask you, Derek, I gotta ask you this: 2Gs in a pod. We have our friends on. We love to give you an opportunity to speak in a safe space about things that are happening. And I hate that word, safe space. It's very Gen Z. But I gotta ask you about Michael Thomas, because this happened just a few days ago. He threw you under the bus on X. He was talking with a fan. He's going back and forth with fans about lack of production in the year he had, and he tweeted, and I'm going to quote it. Well, if I didn't get set up by a bad ball, I probably would have had a little light 1,000 yards this year, but could have, should have. I know, I get it. Laugh out loud. And so essentially, he's blaming you for the season-ending injury, and he did
Yes.
it publicly. So
Yep.
not only do I want your reaction, I'm also curious. Did he ever call you and tell you, like, hey, bro, you set me up, you screwed me. The rest of the season was shot because of you?
No, I will answer that, and I will start with saying this: I love Mike T. I really do. I love him. I think when I came in, I don't know how many years it's been, where he's gotten hurt and didn't finish the year, but there was a lot of frustration there. There's a lot of frustration that he had to deal with, and answering questions and all the kind. And I could see how that could wear on you, right? So that when it happens again, goodness, that it's probably hard on the head, on the head and on the heart, you're like, gosh, dang it, and, it probably, I don't even know exactly when it happened, but it probably wasn't the best ball. And I'm being completely honest, James knows. James played with me. I'm not going to throw a perfect ball 100 out of 100 times, but, at the end of the day,
I'm not catch a ball.
he's not going to catch him. I probably didn't throw the best ball, but, if that's how he wants to view it and how he wants to see it, completely fine by me, and I understand also that when I came in the building, we have Chris Olave, who they were trying to train to be the number one guy. So all of a sudden, every rep and every read in practice is Chris first, and as a superstar that Mike is and what he has been, I can understand you're dealing with all the injury noise. You're dealing with now Chris has become a guy, and he loves Chris. That's his guy, Ohio State, all that. But I can understand where the frustration begins to build. I can understand where all those things begin to take place. But there was times during the season where he'd be frustrated or this or that, and I wouldn't, tweet about it. I would just call him, and I'd just be like, look, bro, like this is what it is, bro. We're grown men. We can talk about anything. And every time that I went on there and talked to him, there was times where I went at him and confronted him about something and said something. And he probably, over time, with all the frustration, grew to not liking that, but I've always just tried to tell the truth in love. And sometimes, people don't like it, but, I hope Mike finds what he's looking for. I hope he gets everything he wants in life, because I do love Mike. But at that moment, I didn't really like it. I was like, you just call me, bro. Like, to say this, to say all these things, like, I felt like it was like we're doing like some middle school thing, man. Just talk to me. And Mike was great about talking to me. But in that moment, that's why I just try and stay off social media, man. There's so much love. There's so much hate. Just try to stay off it.
But
JJ, that breaks the code, doesn't it? Like,
that's the main thing I hate. I absolutely hated Amber. I hated DC. Like, if you're my brother, I am going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call you if I have an issue, point blank, period. Or when I see you in the locker room, I'm going to be like, bruh, this is the problem that I have. You know what I mean? I hate when teammates leave teams and talk about players. I hate when teammates tweet stuff and talk about their teammates. I absolutely hate it. I grew up to where, number one, it's always my fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll never forget, like, Aaron had threw me a ball, an in route. I got my helmet knocked off. Boom. right? I score a touchdown. I tell him good ball. My family was like, "What you mean good ball? He almost killed you." But like, I'll tell him that in the locker room if I felt like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't caught a ball, got my ribs broke. Matt Flynn, I ain't coming there. Hey, Matt Flynn set me up. This and that. Like, come on, you do not do your teammates like that. I absolutely hate it. I don't know why they go to social media. You have my number. If you have an issue with me, man, just text me. I do not understand that. Like, a quarterback is not gonna make every throw. They blitzing me. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. Like, it's a lot of stuff happening. And same with a receiver. We're not going to make every catch. So at the end of the day, I just hate it because I don't like when other teammates, put their teammates on blast like that. Now, it's different if you talking to the media or whatever, and you like, listen, I got to play well. DC got to play better. Well, that's different. You know what I'm saying? But calling one of your teammates out, man, I absolutely hate it, man. I don't know why dudes do it nowadays. And then you going on Twitter, and these dudes is, come on, man. Like, who are you going back and forth with?
With a fan. You're talking to a fan about it too.
I see
Like,
you going back and forth with another receiver or something that played in the league. Like, you're talking to just a regular fan. Like, come on, bro.
And look how the greatest do it.
I'll never understand it.
Look how the greatest do it. And I'm going to say this. Davante Adams got his head knocked off. There were several times, no matter who was throwing to him this year, where I thought this man is going to be injured. They are putting him in a bad. Never did you hear Davante get up and blame the rookie or blame Jimmy or anything like that. I'm sure he had a discussion with him. You guys know him better than me. Maybe like, hey, you got to put this in a better place. But I think that was an example of the right way to do it. So wanted to bring that up. But James, we got the Super Bowl coming up. I know James has been out front talking about Brock Purdy. James will not give Brock Purdy any respect.
And the last couple of days, I have given him some respect, especially what he did against the Detroit Lions. He made some plays, but with Brock Purdy, you either over here or you either over there. It ain't no in between with like Brock Purdy fans, Brock Purdy, people who criticize Brock Purdy. It's either like you ride with Brock Purdy, you love him, or hey, I don't like him. He a game manager, whatever people say. You just heard Cam Newton come out again and say he's the 10th best player on his team and all that type of crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Everybody's just saying stuff. So I wanted to get your humble opinion as a quarterback. What are your thoughts on Brock Purdy? Like, do you believe Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely, especially for them. Absolutely. He's in a system that fits him well. He's got a coach that believes in him, and he's got great talent all around him. We've done, as I get older, I just see this, man. Fantasy football and Twitter and all this kind of stuff has individualized the most team-oriented sport in the world. And so we want to say, well, he's not up to this, or he's not this guy. And he's like, well, he's perfect for them. They're in the Super Bowl, And so at the end of the day, everyone has a worth in this league, and everybody has all those things, but this is a team game, and you'll never win it individually. Pat Mahomes is one of the greatest talents. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest talents, and they haven't won the Super Bowl every single year that they've been in, right? Because it takes a team, it takes a unit, it takes all three units playing good at the same time, also. And so you've won one. It takes everything. So. I think Brock is a good player. I think that he's super accurate. He's tough. He does a great job, in that scheme when it's not there. They do a great job of, getting him out in space so he can go make plays and extend plays. I think that that's obviously emphasized in the coaching because you see it in his mentality every game. So it's obviously emphasized and it fits him. And so I know his teammates love him. I know he's doing a great job. Their team is winning games, and he's helping them win games. And I always love watching guys at the end of games, and he's making the throw, or he's making, the run, to extend the drive or whatever, however you have to do it. So I think he's perfect for them. And I think that's in this case, that's what matters.
Yeah. Think about that divisional round too. He got it done. Jordan Love didn't. You got to look at who executes in those difficult times. I love Brock Purdy. I think if he wasn't Mr. Irrelevant, people would look at him through a different lens. If he was a first round pick, I think he'd get a little bit more respect. But James, Patrick Mahomes kind of has, Derek brings him up. He kind of has an effect on quarterbacks. I know you want to get into that.
Absolutely. DC. So I'm watching Lamar Jackson. I'm sure you watched the game. I'm watching Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson was not Lamar Jackson. And I don't care about you missing throws and all that. I don't care about none of that. Lamar's greatest strength is getting outside the pocket and running the football and forcing defense to have to play him a certain way because he can get out this pocket with his legs. Against Patrick Mahomes, my dog stood in the pocket like he was a true Peyton Manning pocket passer, right? He didn't really extend one play. And I wanted to ask you, is that like a Patrick Mahomes effect? Like, you competed against Patrick Mahomes year in and year out. Did it ever cross your mind that I got to outduel this dude? And like, did you ever like be a different dude that you were some games knowing that Patrick Mahomes is over there? Because I kind of felt that with Lamar Jackson, like, man, I'm going to show the world I can pass with Patrick Mahomes. Does he have that kind of effect on you?
Well, I'd say this. I think Pat is an unbelievable talent. We all know that. We all love watching it and some of the throws you make. And Pat's been him and I have been great. Every time we played each other and all those things. And so for me, you would have to be ultra aggressive. Anytime we played the Chiefs, you had to be ultra aggressive because their ability to score points. And so looking down the field a little longer, giving guy an extra chance, giving that guy an extra throw. Is kind of the mentality that you have. And especially for us, just my time with the Raiders, sometimes we were like in the middle on defense. So, Andy Reid for years, has ate up middle of the pack defense.
You're a nice guy. You're a nice guy.
You weren't in the middle. You weren't in the middle, Derek. Like, I'm a journalist. I mean, I need to put the facts out there. It wasn't in the middle. It was bottom third at best. I'll pull it up right now. Dude. I'll look up every year for 9 years. I'm being factual. It's nothing. I think I just being nice.
I respect that.
I appreciate you catching. All right, but what I will say is when Andy, even with Alex Smith, with Pat, there's this feeling of when you play them, we have to score points. And some teams are like, we're going to just chew the clock. Well, if you chew the clock, go 3 and out, and they get the ball, it's over. They're up 14-0 before you can even blink. And so there is this mentality when you play them that you have to score points. So that's why we had some really great games against Alex, and Andy, or Pat and Andy. We were just ultra aggressive. When you're in that division with them, you pick up on what it takes to beat them. And we went there and beat them. We almost beat them at home. And then we go there again, last year or 2 years ago, and we're 2 points away from winning that one, and so we're a toe tap away, which I still think Devontae was in from winning that game, but that's what the kind of game it takes. But for Lamar, everyone, hopefully, how I feel about Lamar, but I think he's unbelievable. He's one of the greatest talents at any position that we've ever seen, and I hope we appreciate it because it doesn't happen all the time. And when I was watching the game, he was just put in so many drop back scenarios, like drop back. I was just like, I was kind of waiting, the one quarterback run they did have, he almost took it to the house, and so,
did that baffle you? Did the game plan baffle you? I mean, he dropped back 82% of the time. And I think a lot of people were watching going, this is not the Ravens offense. Why are they doing something different than what got them here? Did you have that reaction?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it'd be like going in. I can only speak just as a player, and I don't know what their plan was and what they were talking about. And with the score, how it was, how they felt about how they needed to score. But it'd be like coming in and I see the game plan. It's me running quarterback power and zone read 20 times in a game. I was like, this might not be the best idea.
Yeah, that's not what we do.
And I'm sure they had stuff ready, but you know how game flows go. Sometimes you got to get out of stuff, and sometimes hey, I don't like how they're playing this. These runs aren't going to be good. So that's why them coaches get paid, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
All right, so Super Bowl, not only Super Bowl prediction. Tell me who wins and why they'll win, but I also want to know, who do you root for? Because as a longtime Raider, you're almost trained to hate the 49ers, but then you hate the Chiefs even more because they're in your division. So I know James is confused as a Raider. He doesn't know who to hate more in this one. He doesn't know who he's picking. Who do you like?
This is a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. This one, I've been back and forth. Like, I was asked yesterday, I was like, I think the Chiefs got it. And then today someone asked, I was like, you know what? I think the Niners got it. So I'm back and forth, but I'll say the difference is going to just come down to defense. With Kyle Shanahan and Purdy and all those weapons, with Christian and all, like the X factor is going to be like, can the Chiefs stop the run? Right? They're going to have to stop the run, and because that's the run. Once that run is cranking for San Fran, those play actions are wide open. They're going to be schemed up. And then on the flip side of things is, with the Chiefs, it kind of like that little missing piece also is that run game and that intermediate passing game, right? We want to talk about the deep balls Pat throws, and they're awesome, and him scrambling, but obviously you want to contain that with the rush, but if the Chiefs can run the ball, same thing, that intermediate passing game against just zone coverage, that's the one thing is, what are the Niners going to play what they play, or are they going to switch it up? Because if they just sit in zone, Andy Reid is one of the greatest at just dialing up completions. And so it'll come down to open field tackling for sure in that area also.
You trying to be an analyst like your brother or something? Because that was pretty good. We can put that on your audition reel when you decide to retire.
Yeah, and you don't mind sending that out. The more you can do.
We'll send it out for you.
He still beat around who we picking. Who you picking?
Oh, yeah, who you picking? Give me a pick.
I still got a pick right now.
Yep.
Man.
It could change, somebody might, show up at practice and,
Bill Parcells always said, I reserve the right to change my mind.
100%. I reserve the right to change my mind. I think as I woke up this morning, I think the Niners based on the run game. I really do, because that run game and play action is just ridiculous. But you can't count Pat out, man. The man's unbelievable. Andy Reid's unbelievable. So I don't know. It's hard. It's tough.
It's crazy you say that real quick, because I counted Pat out this year. I ain't gonna lie. And he turned me into a liar. But I'm seeing miscommunications with the receivers. I'm seeing a bunch of drop passes, right? Patty Mahomes throwing more picks than he ever threw in his career. And I'm just like, there ain't no way they fixing this year. And yes, I understand you can fix the drops, but the chemistry with the receivers, like a receiver running a go ball, he bending in, Patty throwing it outside. Yeah. Right? A receiver running a corner route, he flattening it off, Patty throwing it at a high angle. I'm like, these dudes is just on a different page. And I'm like, that usually takes a year or 2 years, you know what I mean, to get on the same page with your receivers. I do not seeing it change. And this dude in the Super Bowl, bro. Yeah.
Look, I knew they were going to be all right, obviously, with the coaching staff and with the guys they have on that team. But we were dealing with the same thing. It's new, right? I'm a new quarterback with new receivers. And, oh, man, I thought you were going to do this. So sometimes it looks gross, Sometimes you're just like, what is that, And once we started getting on the same page, you saw the excellence take up a level. Same thing with them, and I think they're still improving. I think that they're still getting on the same page, which is scary for teams next year. But I think the cool thing about that is, while they were going through that, their defense was playing really well. And again, it's the ultimate team game. As great of a talent as Pat is or Lamar is, and all these kind of things. This is a team game and it'll never change. And so, it's never going to be you won because of him or you lost because of him. It's us all the time.
All right. Enough with football. Let's have a little bit of fun.
Sure.
You always are down for whatever. So we're going to ask you some fun questions. By the way, Devontae did this and he was hilarious. Okay.
He's hilarious.
He is. People don't know that because he's such a warrior and he's kind of stoic out there. He is so funny.
I'm telling you right now. Tay on the golf course has said some of the funniest things that I will never repeat, but they are the funniest things I've ever heard in my life come from Devontae Adams.
Do you miss him?
Oh yeah, all the time. And now that I'm back in town, once it stops raining, today it's raining, but we got to get back on that golf course. We play a lot of golf together and we throw together in the off season.
And you know what's crazy? His golf game, he think he's so good. His golf game garbage. But to be honest with you though, like his mid-range golf game is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. Nice. I'll hit it off the tee, but once that thing get on the grass, I'm 13 shots to the hole.
Hey, I will say this: I was there when we lived in the Bay Area together. When Devontae got the golf itch, he got the itch. And when I tell you, he is the most improved golfer from that moment until where he's at today. It shows to his athleticism and his hand-eye coordination and all that, and his work ethic. But he's been working, so I know he's going to get right and start shooting in them 70s every time.
Because his mid-range, I'm like, this dude got touch on the ball and everything, man.
Who's the best pro athlete golfer you guys have each played with? It doesn't have to be an NFL guy. I don't know who you've played with.
You're talking about active.
Yeah, or It could be passed, I guess.
Past, I've seen Tony play. I've played with Steph
Oh.
Curry, and Steph's unbelievable. He's just very consistent. Steph's, he hits the ball a mile with his 3-wood, and
Yeah.
that helps. So I'd say probably Steph, and then like a sneaky pick was Harrison Smith. He's
Really?
and why it was sneaky is because he's left-handed. Threw me off. Completely threw me off.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was
I don't
left-handed.
know why when you left-handed, I feel like the ball is always in the perfect spot for you to strike that thing. You know what I mean?
This just looks right.
Right-handed, I'm like, I can't even get my stance over here behind this tree. For me, I mean, obviously Aaron Rodgers is a good golfer, but the best golfer that I've ever golfed with is Mason Crosby.
Wow.
Mason. All right, he could kick and he could golf.
Yeah, he was always in the locker room. Kickers don't really talk junk. And every time we talk golf, he like, huh? And I'm like, he ain't got no muscles, man. He probably hitting 150 off the tee. Man, Mason got out there, man, and Mason is a golfer. He is a good player. And every part of his game, from putting to driving, mid-range, he's a really good golfer.
All right, let's get to these questions. Here we go. Devontae Adams loved you so much that he left Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay to play with you in Las Vegas. But James Jones is your brother from another mother. I know how much you love him.
That's right.
So I ask, if Devontae Adams and James Jones were both drowning and you could only save one, which one would it be and why?
Wow.
That's a good question, Amber.
There is the option to use James's head as a stepping stone to get to Devontae if you would like that. That's out there.
I once, as a Christian man, I believe that, Jesus walked on water. So I'm going to be praying hard that, James, because he's older, I got to go with the young gun. I just got to go with the more years. I got to go with who has more years.
His life's over anday.
Hey, so you gonna let me go, man, because I'm closer to heaven than Tay.
Hey, you know what I mean? I still, I'm still working on my dog.
Yeah.
So
That's hysterical.
Hey, you know what's crazy is that's why I got the boxing gloves. Because when I do make it out, I'm going after both of y'all.
It's the parent thing, right? Don't they say, like, if you ask most parents, they would save the youngest one just because they think they can't save themselves, and it's why oldest ones ends up in therapy a lot. But
hey, that's why I picked Tay, because I heard that saying you're supposed to pick the youngest one. So I was
take the youngest one. There you go. All right, James.
Just gonna let your dog go like that.
James can't get over it. James, go to the next question.
If I make it out of there, it's on. All right, man. So lately, the last couple of days, man, we seen Patty Mahomes with his dad bod. No chest, no ass, belly out there. I'm with my dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when you got kids and they young, you running around with them, you eating everything they eat, you get that dad bod. Obviously, he's still playing at a high level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I forgot the question.
Amber, I have the question. All right, let me ask the question. You're a dad. You have a lot of kids. Would you rather have? I got you, JJ. JJ still feels like he'd be offed if he was drowning, so he can't get over it yet. Would you rather?
I could save them both. I'm just gonna say.
There we go. He needs to recover. Help him out. This is really affecting him emotionally. So let's.
I can save you both.
Okay. In honor of Patrick Mahomes' dad bod, would you rather have an unsculptable dad bod forever? You just cannot get a muscle. You cannot get an ab. Or would you rather go bald? And I asked you this because Carrs are pretty boys. They've got really good hair. They care about your hair. Your brother used to spend more time in the NFL Network mirror than I did doing his hair. So unsculptable dad bod forever or go bald?
I'm going bald, 100%. I'm going bald. I can't do it.
Me too.
You ain't gonna have that dad bod out there like that?
I can't do it. I work too hard. Hey, I saw that picture though, and I was like, I was working out, and I was on Instagram. I was like, I mean, dang, he's in the Super Bowl. What am I doing right now?
I know. I was gonna say I would have that body if I had that ability. If I had that like God-given, I'm the best, one of the best ever play future Hall of Famer. Sure, give me a gut. I'm cool with that. I'll take a couple Super Bowls.
I'm going bald.
I need my hair, man.
You're going dad bod?
Hey, dad bod it is, man. You know what I'm saying? And especially you ain't really out there trying to look for no ladies and nothing. You married, you know what I mean? Like, look, girl, hey, get up on it.
You got what you got. Eternity.
Get up on it.
You
You
got
know
me
what I
for
mean? But
eternity.
I'm going to that barbershop and I'm gonna be crispy.
Hey, girl, this
That's
is what you
hilarious.
got. Wow. That's so
I can't be out there
romantic.
balding.
So
Oh man, that's
romantic
funny.
leading up to Valentine's Day.
All right, man. We
You got
got
the next
another
one,
one for you.
James?
Yeah, I got the next one. I think I
Okay.
remember this one. All right, man. So for the rest of your life, all right, you either cannot brush your teeth or you got to wear the same drawers for the rest of your life.
You get to watch them?
No, you don't get
No.
to wash them drawers. You same dirty drawers for the rest of your life, or you can't brush your teeth.
And this coming from a man that admitted on Davante's episode that he turns his drawers inside out. He will
Used to,
wear
don't-
them twice. Your friend James
Hey,
Jones turns
hey,
his
back
drawers
in the day,
inside
man,
out.
you
He
grow
is
up through the
nasty.
struggle. Hey,
He has no home
hey.
training. He had no help
Oh.
from his teammates, apparently, to help him understand that's nasty.
Look, I'm gonna say I can't brush my teeth because I can't do the draws, and I feel like I could overdo it with some strong mints every day. I feel like I could do that.
Your teeth gonna be rotten off, bro. You gonna hey, every time, hey, you gonna have to be like, yeah, yeah,
Hey,
I'm-
yeah, you gonna have to talk everywhere. Like,
I'm gonna go get them fake ones, so it don't matter.
you know what I'm saying? Everywhere you go, you
I
gonna
say
have to be
teeth.
like, yeah.
I say teeth because unlike James, I'm not turning my drawers inside out. I'm just not wearing them, right? So like if at one point you just got to go free, you can take that avenue.
Oh
But I
man.
need to have teeth. I need to keep my teeth. So I'm brushing my teeth.
If they said you had to wear them though, like going free ball
Yeah.
wasn't an option.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be stinking. I'm putting them drawers on, old, rusty, crusty, dusty. I'll flip them in and out every day, but I'm brushing that mouth.
Oh, it's a rough situation.
All right.
It is.
I got another one. I got one and James got one more.
Man.
Would you rather be really good looking and dumb or really smart and ugly?
I'd rather be really smart, 100%.
And ugly?
Really smart.
But you say
Wisdom.
that as a man that's lived your life as a good looking dude. Like, you know, whereas you can like afford to be like, yeah, I'd like to be smart too.
That's I would have to let my wife answer that one.
She'd rather have you. She'd probably have you really smart at this point, right? Like y'all been married so long.
Yeah, hey,
she's like, I don't want
we're
some
here.
dumb dude. Like, I need your help. We got 87 kids. I need your help. I can't have you be dumb. All right, James.
I got to be good looking because usually when a girl pull up on you, she don't even know you're smart yet. She don't know if you're smart or dumb. You know what I'm saying? So, she just walking up on you like, oh, wait, he look good. He ain't got no dad bod. He's straight out there.
Man.
But I'm asking you that as you guys now. So you're both married, so it really doesn't matter if you're good looking. So you'd rather be smart. So I kind of get that. But if you were younger, you'd probably rather be good looking. All right, James, you got.
All right, man. You got brothers, man. You guys are, one coaching, one on TV. All y'all played football. I want to know what's one of the craziest things your brothers ever did to you? You know what I mean? You're the younger brother.
Yeah.
You probably done been roughed up. What's one of the craziest things either David or your older brother done to you?
Yeah, so we used to when I was in high school, so I think I was like 16 at the time. Dave went and bought some sparring gear. And he was like, man, let's just play around in the backyard. So my dad, being the OG that he is, threw that stuff on first and started whooping everybody, and so finally I was like, I'm building up the confidence because I know my time's coming. These dudes are all 10 years older than me and just jacked out of Darren's 320 at the time. Dave's 240 with no neck, like this. And so I was like, whatever. So Darren had the gear on. So I put the gloves on. And because Darren, I know Darren will be cool with me. Dave will try and just knock me out. Dave's just
trying to take your head off.
Yes.
Wait, which one's older? Is Dave or Darren older?
David's older.
David's the oldest. Okay.
Yep. So Darren, I know, even though he's 320, I was like, he could just knock my head off my body, but he's gonna be cool. So we're boxing, and then all of a sudden, like I started getting confident, and man, I hit him with a boom, boom, wham, and I caught it, bro. As soon as I caught it, my eyes went like this. Oh, he took off. I had no guard, bro. He was punching
Yeah.
straight through. I threw the stuff off, threw it off. I'm
Did your
done.
dad step
Right.
in or your mom step in to help her? They're
No.
like, no, take your whoop
Oh,
in. This is
no.
how you get
Yeah.
tougher.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you deserve that.
See, that's why the youngest, especially of all
Definitely.
of brother, you guys don't have a sister, right? It's all boys.
All boys.
The youngest of all boys is always the toughest and always the best athlete because they were fighting for their life
Hey,
at a
fight
young
for
age.
life.
You
Yeah.
had no
Yep.
control over these older dudes. You can't fight back, and so
Nope.
you go on to be an NFL quarterback because like they
Yep.
toughened you up. So you should
That's
thank
right.
them. You should thank them.
Oh, they
No
know.
doubt.
They know how I
No
feel.
doubt. No
Well,
doubt.
Derek, this has been so awesome. You gave us so much time, and I hope people got to know you a little bit because you are just a really cool dude, and we're so happy for you in New Orleans. By the way, do you eat the crawfish or whatever they're called down there?
Oh
The
yeah. So this is the crazy thing. I would say the number one gift given is food. So like people
yeah.
bring us fish, they have their broils all the time, and they're bringing us food all the time. We get gumbo, we get like
Ooh.
you get literally everything. So you gotta be careful because I could easily be
you could get
230
fat down there.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
what are they called? Beignets?
beignets.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Yep.
gosh, those Reggie Bush took me to get some of those once down there.
Yep.
And they were amazing, but I don't mess with the crawfish. I'm a Marylander and I like crustaceans, but I went down there with my girlfriend. She actually, you probably know her, Shanika. She's she's with the broadcast department.
Yep.
She gave me a Bloody Mary, and it had a crawfish with its little claws like this looking at me. And every time I took a sip, and she took the head right off and sucked out the body and took the Bloody Mary. And I was like, I'm not a New Orleans girl, but I do love the food there. So, Derek,
Yep.
thanks so much, my friend, and continue to get better. And we're looking forward to seeing who the offensive coordinator is, and you guys continue that momentum that you had at the end of last year into next year.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you, my brother. Even though you're gonna let me drown, I love you, dog. Appreciate you.
Derek Carr is just an awesome dude. I know you have been friends with him for a long time. Just want to follow up on the Michael Thomas thing, just so you guys know, if you're wondering what's going to happen to Michael Thomas, I don't see a situation where he stays with the Saints, but he's an $18.2 million cap hit, which could make things kind of interesting. I don't know if the Saints just take that loss, but I know both of us agree DC handled it the right way, and
No
Michael
question.
Thomas, I'm not really sure what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it on the pod that, and they'll hear it, but I'm just not with players calling their teammates out. I just have never been with it. But yeah, when you talk about an $18 million cap hit, I think it's going to be tough, especially with a lot of the young talent that they have out there in New Orleans, and probably going to add some more young talent. I think it's going to come down to a decision to whether he's there or not next year. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, man, never throw your teammates under the bus.
All right, that'll do it for this episode of 2Gs and a Pod. You definitely don't want to miss us the week of the Super Bowl. We'll both be there. We already have Aaron Jones ready to come on. We're really excited about talking to him, get a little Packers love in there, your former teammate.
Yes.
Looking forward to it. All right, James, I'll catch you.